Nik Nazmi, Minister of Natural Resources and Sustainability from Malaysia. Thank you so much for joining us at the Future Minerals Forum.
My pleasure.
First off, I want to talk a little bit about Malaysia's strategy when it comes to critical minerals. Malaysia, of course, always known as a producer traditionally of tin and rubber, but more recently of critical minerals. Going forward, what's the ambition?
Well, yeah, I mean, minerals played a big role in our development for, well, I would say centuries. But over the last few decades, as we industrialized and we had a bigger service sector coming in, we saw that there was less emphasis with regards to minerals. But now, we are fortunate. We have rare earths in Malaysia. We have silica. At the same time, we also have the largest rare earth processing plant outside of China, the Lynas plant in Pahang. So this allows us to be part of the ecosystem, and we also have this thriving industrial sector, as that consumes these materials. So I think we are positioned at the right place at the right time, but there are still parts that we need to develop in order to truly leverage on this strength.
And when you mentioned largest processing plant outside of China, of course, that's important because countries nowadays concerned about security of supply, given the sort of growing rift between the United States and China, two of the biggest producers, or at least consumers.
Yeah.
So how does Malaysia position itself given this rift?
Well, Malaysia has always been an open trading country. Those two countries are two of our biggest trading partners. So as a result, I mean, we would, even in rare earths, specifically, we have the Lynas plant, the biggest outside China, but the rare earth mine that is already operating in Malaysia is operated with a Chinese partner. So for us, we are trying our best to be able to continue to do business with both. We believe that at the end of the day, the primary focus should be about reaching our transition goals, our net zero goals, and here critical minerals play a key role. And I do believe that we need both, the strength and technology of China and the US and the other countries in order to achieve this ambitious goal.
People talk about this zero-sum game, having to choose. They're fearful that they may have to choose between the United States and China. Are you concerned that there's pressure to kind of go with one camp or the other?
It is challenging. I think all of our, I think a lot of countries that are in the same sort of position as us, including our ASEAN neighbors, we are in a similar position.
Yeah.
But we, so far, we are able to get the two countries to understand that being an independent and sovereign country, we want to do business with both.
Yeah.
And we respect, the concerns from both countries. And we try our best to accommodate them.
Yeah.
So it's something that is not straightforward, but we have to face it in these challenging times.
And it also presents an opportunity, right? Because as countries move to shore up security of supply, they're looking at Southeast Asia, they're looking at Malaysia, but not only, also Thailand, Indonesia, as places where they can do that. So why say Malaysia versus somewhere else in Southeast Asia if you're an investor?
Well, I think as far as Malaysia, we are a stable democratic country. We have a strong record of attracting investors.
Yeah.
We have a thriving industrial and service sector. Rule of law, people are familiar with our legal framework, which is common with many other Commonwealth countries. So I think, we have a strong English-speaking population and workforce. So, and we have also a huge Chinese minority, Mandarin speaking. So I think that is a balance that you don't get in many countries.
Yeah.
So I think that is where that is our sweet spot. And with having that Lynas plant in Malaysia already there, and having actually rare earth minerals under the earth in Malaysia, I think that is something that puts us in a very special position.
And last question about this, because I want to move on to sustainability. The downside of this fragmentation that we're getting in supply chains, just very briefly, what is it? What would be your concern about the having to choose issue?
Well, I think going back to what I said earlier, in the sense that, to achieve Malaysia, for example, our net zero goal is very ambitious. Net zero by 2050. For a developing country, that's a very ambitious goal.
Yeah.
And if we are forced to choose to adopt one technology over another, and that will bring with it, cost implications and whatnot, that will make that goal harder to achieve. So we would love to be able to enjoy, not the best of both worlds, but to get access to every technology in order for us, because at the end of the day, we want to have that sustainability goal in mind. That is the end game for Malaysia's.
And let me pick up on sustainability, because one of the extraordinary things about your title is you're the Minister of Natural Resources and Sustainability.
Yeah.
Which is unusual, and those things are often at odds. And presumably as well in Malaysia, you have some of the world's oldest forests, one of the most biodiverse countries in the world. So how do you reconcile the fact that some of the critical minerals you want to develop and process in Malaysia happen to be located in some of the most precious places on the planet?
Yes, it does not make my job easy.
Yeah.
But when I have my engagements with civil society, with the environmentalists, my pitch to them is that energy transition is something that we have to go through. That is something that we cannot avoid. And yes, we would love to be able to recover some of these minerals from urban mining and whatnot, but quite a lot of it will still have to come from raw ore under the ground.
Sure.
So the idea is that to be able to do it as sustainably as possible. Our current policy with regards to mining, for example, is that it's not allowed to be done in permanent forest reserves.
Yeah.
So I say, go and focus on the land outside first and try to do that. That's what is happening right now. And we will try our best to do the to achieve that balance. It's not easy, but I think that we just have to figure it out if we are to again go back to achieving our ambitious goals.
A necessary challenge, necessary evil as you move forward. What brings you to the Future Minerals Forum?
Well, I think there's no other gathering that gathers so many ministers, industry leaders under one roof when it comes to minerals as this event.
No other.
I would think so, from my experience.
Yeah.
And so, I think that it's important for Malaysia to be here. My officers have been here over the past few years, but this year I made a point to come here, and you can meet, I think, everyone in this conference. We were talking about the geopolitical tensions, but I think in this platform we are able to talk to everyone. I think that's something that is very precious in this day and age. Yeah.
And in terms of Malaysia's relationship with Saudi Arabia, how do you see that partnership in the critical mineral space?
Well, we have a long-standing relationship with Saudi Arabia, cultural, diplomatic, and particularly, in terms of oil and gas as well.
Right.
We have cooperated with one another. So I think, minerals, it's something that is something new for us in terms of cooperation. So we would like to focus and build on our other relationships. I think we have that advantage and that track record for us to build on as we work on cooperation in minerals.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.